Well, one day I was really stressed out. I had picked up, moved 3,000 miles away. I let my former career go, and I was in business for myself, but not by myself. And I was really stressed out, and I really needed to talk to somebody. I needed to speak with somebody who could help me just understand what I was going through and make sense of everything and give me some guidance. And I really didn't want to talk to just a regular person. I felt like I wanted to talk to an intuitive person. Back then they called everybody a psychic. I think it was like during the Miss Cleo days. And I picked up the phone book. Yes, we had phone books. And I opened the phone book up, and I opened it up to psychics. And there were like a gazillion of them on this page. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to know who I should call? So I closed my eyes, and I just I just pointed my hand down, and wherever it was going to land was who I was going to call. So it landed on this particular company, and I called the number, and it was a recording, and it said, hi, you've reached blah blah blah. And they said that we're having a psychic and healing fair this weekend, and we teach meditation classes and yada yada yada. They went through the whole gamut on this voicemail, and I was like, oh my gosh, Becky, I found it. This is what I wanted, because I felt like I needed to learn how to meditate, because I felt like I was dealing with so much stress that I needed to learn how to meditate. And then they were having this psychic and healing festival. I didn't know what all that was all about, but I felt like, okay, this is where I want to go. I need to go here. So I went that Saturday, and I ended up not leaving for 6 years. I went there, they did a healing on me, they told me a little bit about myself, and that's when I learned that I too was intuitive, and I was empathic. And at that time, my empathic ability was my highest ability. But I had other abilities as well, but they helped me to identify them. And I was like, really? And they told me some different things. They asked me questions like, they said, do you ever talk to people and then after you talk to them they feel better? And I was like, yeah, but I thought that was normal. And I told them, when I was in high school, they used to call me, well, no, they didn't used to call me, I used to call myself Dear Abby. I'm probably dating myself by saying that, but yeah, they used to call me Dear Abby, or I used to call myself Dear Abby, because my friends used to come talk to me about their issues, and we'd solve them together, and they feel great. But one thing that the people at the Institute brought to my attention was that I might not have felt so great. So I would go through times where I just wouldn't feel so great out of nowhere, and I had no idea what that was all about. And they shared with me that because I was empathic and a healer, I was healing them with my words and healing them just spiritually or energetically, just through conversation. But I, in turn, was taking on their energy, and I wasn't releasing it. So here I go talking to John and Paul and Sally and Judith or whoever, and they would feel great. They'd go on their merry way, and I'd be feeling like, I would be taking a little bit of junk on from everybody else's trunk and adding it to my own junk, So eventually I would feel down and didn't know why, and then I'd purge, with tears or whatever, and then I might feel better after that. But that was around the time where I learned that I was intuitive and I was empathic. I was clairvoyant, but I had to work on that a little bit more to hone those skills. And then over the years, all of the gifts just grew and enhanced. And some of the gifts, I don't even know what they're called, different things would start to happen, different times a year. I would notice something just would happen. Oh, I could do that now. I could do that now. I remember one time I saw this movie Elektra. I love that movie. And Jennifer Garner, I love her. She's awesome. And Elektra was sitting there, and she was taught by her master how to meditate. And while she was meditating, she would actually be able to see what was coming. So she would be able to see when, people who were coming to get her, she could see them coming down the road, so it was like forewarning for her. So I was like, wow, I wonder if I could do that. And I remember saying that and going to the chiropractor's office, because I do a special practice that is also very healing called network spinal analysis, and I used to go 3 days a week. So I went to the chiropractor and I was lying on the table and I was doing my breath work, and I decided, let me, I always kind of meditated on the table. And I heard James coming, he was my chiropractor, and I heard him coming up the back steps. And so I was like, I wonder if I could do what Jennifer did. I wonder if I could see him, with my eyes closed. And I saw this person walking by my office, and then I kind of saw what he had on, and then he kind of went through the space that I was in and went out the other side. And so I was like, wow, I can't wait to see if he looks like what I saw in my vision. I can't wait to see if he had that on. And after I got up, I asked Judy, I said, where's James? And she said, oh, he went out the other side. He'll be back. I couldn't wait till he got back. When he got back, I was like, get out of here. He had on the same thing that I saw in my vision. I was like, get out of here. And then later I learned that my spirit, I guess, goes out and learns. And so me asking the question, ooh, I wonder if I could do that. Then the next thing you know, I was able to do that. And this happened with many different things. People would learn different healing techniques and they would tell me about them. And I would say, ooh, I think I could do that. Or I would go to a healing event and learn a new modality, and I would just know how to do it. I would be there with, tons of other people. I've been at places where there have been hundreds of people in the same healing classes as me learning techniques. I'd be in places where there were 20 people. And it was like weird because I would just know what to do. I would know what to say. I would know where to place my hand. I would know what to do. And I had no idea why. And then, later people kind of gave me some insight as to how that was happening with me. So it was, this journey has been very, very interesting, just learning about my gifts and honing them. Later I learned, and this was just a few years ago, I learned that I actually had the gifts when I was a kid. And some other gifts that I had when I was a kid, and I had no idea that I was experiencing these things that weren't really in real life. Well, I shouldn't say really in real life, but whatever. But that's a whole nother story, but I hope that answers your question.